one of the things I wanted to cover this week, and Mike and I have touched on this before, is AI for folks with disabilities. And we know that a lot of folks face challenges that most of us can't even begin to fathom. But the AI space is a great space for it because it's giving them abilities that, one, they didn't previously have, or two, it's enhancing abilities of things that they'd like to do, things they'd like to access. And I guess I really hadn't thought of this myself, but getting input from those people and having them test these products and be a part of it, and that led me to this article on generative AI for people with disabilities. And what I found fascinating was that there's actually a company called Our Ability. If you go to ourability.com, you'll find some more information about them. We're going to put them in the show notes and also show their website here. Hopefully they appreciate the attention, or maybe it drives some great candidates their way for both testing and for employment purposes. But they are one of the only companies, and I think their website states the only company that is disability owned. And they are participating in AI now and helping with these generative AI tests, and letting folks actually learn generative AI and give ideas to some of the producers that we see. They're doing generative art and other things, and giving their insights to ways it can be improved. So very, very excited to go over this article here. But I did learn a few things, Mike, on this article that I didn't previously know. And that's that there's a lot of issues here, especially with people with disabilities that don't disclose them to their employers. They don't want to be thought of differently, or they don't want to show where their deficit may be. All of us have deficits, every
Yeah,
one of
for
us has a
sure.
deficit, right? And it's funny that we shy away from them, and sometimes that just getting them out there may maybe better for us. So there's a potential for employment here, of course. And like I said, Our Ability does have some things posted on their site that you can go to for various jobs. And they have an AI powered platform to assist unemployed individuals in finding those jobs. And
Nice.
interestingly enough, there is a digital divide here, and what they're trying to address. Historically, as a society, we haven't done a very good job of being inclusive to people with disabilities and also other minorities. And this kind of pinpoints that. So, one of the interesting parts that I learned from this article was that retrofitting technology and other items such as that they would use is 10,000 times more costly
Wow.
to retrofit than it is to improve upon it upon its inception. So this is kind of getting to the design principles of technology and some of the devices that will be used. Very exciting stuff there that's getting that out there and getting them involved in the creation of the items and the creation of the technology. So there's, of course, some technical requirements for this with keyboard navigation, and there are already companies like ChatGPT that are working on that. There's a Chrome extension, of course, that adds keyboard shortcuts to assist people. There's also alternative text for the visually impaired users. And interestingly enough, I've come by some of this knowledge from personal experience from some people that I know that have worked on websites. And one of the most challenging things is getting them ADA compliant. And it's something that we overlook oftentimes. But in this article, it actually discussed that I think it's like 3% of the top 1 million websites are. Are like ADA compliant or fully accessible.
Wait, what was that percentage
It's
again?
like 3% of the top 1 million websites. Yeah.
Wow.
So, as a society, we have a lot of work to do here. We
Yes.
definitely have a lot of work to do. And I'm very, very excited. I'm hoping maybe we can set something up with Our Ability in the future, and talk to maybe the CEO there to find out the exciting things that they are doing with it with AI. But it's just awesome to me that they're involved in generative AI, because there's a ton of potential here. And I think of the one of the other statistics I saw from it was like they expect like a 40% increase in the abilities of people to be employed.
That to me is amazing, by the way. That was one of the biggest like things that I took away from just skimming this article was, to me, I think to myself, well, gosh, we have this whole issue right now with employment and
Right.
employers finding people, and in a lot of cases employees finding jobs and all this stuff. And I believe that building technologies that can create more of, I'm going to call it an equal playing field, is
Sure.
absolutely amazing, right? Like I love stuff like that. Like I was just looking
So do
too,
I.
and I was just skimming that article again, and I saw a piece of it that was a technology called Be My Eyes. I don't know if you caught that. You probably did.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that app once,
Mhm.
like on my phone last year. I was never ever called on the app, but I did
Yeah.
have it.
But basically it's got images come through and it'll explain the image, right? So
Mhm.
on a lot of websites you'll have what's called alternate text, right? But a lot of times it's like very vague, right? Building in a desert, whatever.
Right.
Whereas with something like Be My Eyes, it can actually take the details of that image, determine them, and give you a much more vivid, let's say it, picture of what's actually going on in those images. So thought that was pretty cool. And
Absolutely.
that helps people experience stuff that, or maybe not experience it directly, but like they at least get an idea of it, right? Rather than just building in a desert. Building in a desert, pretty darn boring, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to build your castle on sand, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's super cool, Rico. Great story there.